Welcome back. The program is Wake Up Salone on Africa Young Voices Television and Radio. The Walking for Water, a philanthropic pilgrimage, is on a mission to raise money for projects supplying people in need of clean water all over the world. Access to clean water is the most basic necessity for the survival and living standard for any human being and the condition for development and economic independence for any community. In Sierra Leone, many people are still struggling to have clean and safe drinking water.
And a report by Walking for Water says some 842,000 people are estimated to die each year from diarrhea all over the world as a result of unsafe drinking water, sanitation and hygiene. Well, to talk more on this and findings from the Walking for Water, a philanthropic pilgrimage mission, we have Uldahl Christensen, who is a CEO Walking for Water, who is also on the philanthropic pilgrimage. Good morning and thanks for coming.
Good morning and thank you for letting me participate.
So, what is this whole thing about Walking for Water?
Walking for Water,
Yeah.
as you correctly explained, it's a project that aims to make clean drinking water accessible for everyone on the planet. Of course, we can only start one place, and I chose to start on the east coast of Africa with a village called Lengasti I was living in 5 years ago. Under my time in the village, I experienced how people had to walk 19 kilometers to get to the nearest source of clean water and home again with donkeys and buckets. And as you can imagine, that takes the whole day to walk so far to get clean water. So many people, they take dirty water instead from more nearby mud pits. And as you also correctly said, that is resulting in diarrhea and different diseases, and people actually die from that. And when I saw that with my own eyes, I thought, this cannot be true. We live in a world where everybody is so connected. We have television, we have internet. We are not blind to these things anymore. So I think in my part of the world, we have a lot of money going around that can easily be used better when we still have people dying from the lack of basic needs. Something is wrong, the inequality is too big, and we need to do something about that. So when I returned home to Denmark after my visit in this village, I came up with the idea of this concept called Walking for Water. I myself don't have a lot of money to throw out to use to these things, but I have something else. I have a passion for adventuring. And then I found a way of combining this passion of adventuring with a way of raising money for projects like this. So basically I planned a long journey on foot from Denmark to Tanzania. And I have now been walking for 2 years down through Europe and the north of Africa. I walk about 30 kilometers a day, and I never spend money to accommodation, so I mainly sleep in the bush and with local people who invite me in.
So how has it been walking for about 2 years now?
It has been a great adventure. I have been, Sierra Leone is my country number 14, and everywhere I meet so many interesting subcultures and characters, and I develop my own perspective a lot from meeting all these different people, and I feel that I, on my personal behalf, is undergoing a big spiritual journey, why I also call it a pilgrimage. It's not a religious pilgrimage, but it's a spiritual journey where I learn a lot of things and try to pass on this knowledge through my blog on Facebook, etc. And I make some YouTube videos. I make small mini documentaries about different subcultures I meet on my way to give the world an idea of how their brothers and sisters are living in foreign countries.
So are you actually, Charlie, are you saying you walk from Denmark?
I walked from Denmark, yes.
To Sierra Leone?
Yes, about 9,500 kilometers now.
It's quite interesting, Princetta.
Yes, and he's gonna pause for a while, Salim, because we've actually had some videos of him while he undertook those exercises until he gets here now to Sierra Leone. But let us take a look at some of what had happened so far as he walked for water.
Welcome back. It's African Young Voices Television and Radio. Still with us in the studio, we have Uldahl Christensen, who is the CEO for Walking for Water. And we stopped at a point before ever we went to watch the video where he told us he actually walked from Denmark to Sierra Leone. Do you want to take us through some of the discoveries? You went through Denmark.
Yeah, I went through Denmark, Germany, Holland, Belgium, France, Spain, Portugal, back to Spain, and then Morocco. I had to sail across the Gibraltar Strait from Spain to Morocco because I cannot walk on the water. But then Morocco, Mauritania, Senegal, Gambia, Casamance region, Guinea-Bissau, Guinea, and now I'm in Sierra Leone.
And that's
halfway on my journey.
What country is Sierra Leone in terms of number?
It's number 14.
So the 14th country you've visited.
And I will visit a total of 28. So after Sierra Leone, I will go to Liberia, then Ivory Coast, Ghana, Benin, Togo, Nigeria, Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Congo, Democratic Republic Congo, Burundi, Rwanda, and finish in Tanzania. And when I reach Tanzania by foot, then I will fly home to Denmark.
Oh, okay.
This is very interesting.
Yes, honestly, especially when we just watched a video of him, you actually see him walking to just to get people water, which according to him is a very, very hard thing for some people to get. And it's not just maybe in Tanzania, as he's saying, because even in our own country here, Sierra Leone, there are some parts of the country people struggle for water. They don't even have pure water.
And what is interesting,
yes,
what do you really want in this work? Because I can't understand the composition between walking, especially
walking
you
and the
walking
money getting raised
and raising some fund for people that cannot access water.
I'm happy you asked that, because that is the end of the story I was starting in the beginning, where we lost track a little bit. But basically this journey itself, going through all these countries, my initial idea was that when I will undertake this, then I will get a TV contract. I've been trying to pitch it to different TV stations, Danish and international TV stations, with the idea of making a cultural TV program. So every time I come to a country, I will find a subculture and interview them about their lifestyle. I think that would be very interesting to watch for many, many people in Europe. And it will not be very expensive to make, because I'm doing all the journey anyway on foot, and I don't need to get paid any money to do it. What I need is just the advertisement that I can provide sponsors in return. If I get a TV program like this, then I can go to external companies and I can tell them, look, so and so many people watches this program and we have so and so many episodes. So if you want to pay this water supply system for this village, then I will maybe have a cardboard on the push with your brand, etc. Now I don't have this TV contract, but I can still provide a lot of advertisement for external sponsor companies. In all countries I go to television like I am here, and in all countries I get a lot of followers who is interested in the project. I wake a lot of attention because it's a quite peculiar journey. So I'm capable of getting my sponsors promoted on a large template.
Okay.
But I still don't have a head sponsor, and that is the big challenge for me to get.
All right, Charlie. Now let's talk a little about this your push.
Yeah.
We saw you carrying just a small bag and then holding on to your push. What are the items contained in there?
Yeah, it's basically it's my home. Everything I own is in this push and in my bag. So it's simple things as food and water, and then it's clothes. It's my hammock. I sleep in a hammock, so when the sun goes down, I find a place in the bush, pitch my hammock between two trees, and then I sleep there till the next morning. Then I have some cooking equipment. I have some electronics, some solar panels, so I can charge my phone, and yeah.
So far, with regards to all those countries that you've visited, you came right away from Denmark to Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
I mean, you visited 14 countries already.
Yeah.
How many discoveries have you made? What have you been finding out so far?
Well, every time I meet new people, I hear new stories, and I get a larger perspective of how people have become the way they are. It's very easy if you stay one place your whole life to have a lot of prejudices about other cultures and the people from other countries. But if you actually go out and meet them, and especially if you meet them the way I do, down on the ground, I don't have anything to offer, and I give even poor people the possibility of actually hosting me and feel that they can bond with me. And that makes me see people from a whole other side, and I feel that I have a much bigger understanding of Muslim people, gay people, African people, European people, all kinds of people that I didn't know from home in Denmark. I met now, and I lived with, and I've been talking a lot with, and
So you get to adjust yourself to the different countries, their cultures and way of life.
Not
Once
necessarily
you get there,
adjust
for that period
myself.
of time that you're there.
I'm trying to, of course, integrate myself in the cultures, but sometimes it's very hard. Here in Africa, the culture is very different than from where I come. One example is the concept of privacy. I don't have a door I can close, and every time I need to sit and eat a meal, for example, I need to do it out in the nature, and people will gather around me like flies around a turd and just stand and look. And that is something intimidating in my culture. You don't just go into to a stranger and stand looking at him like this. So for me, it's something annoying, to be honest. But in this culture, it seems to be normal. And stuff like this, there is many small things where it's hard to adapt. But of course, I am the guest, and I will have to try to.
So how many days have you spent so far in Sierra Leone?
Today it's actually 1 month.
1 month?
Yeah. I crossed the border from Guinea on the 2nd.
Okay. Now, when actually coming into these countries, when you leave one, going to another, let's get your experience in places like Mauritania and Morocco, where we know those are desert areas. Most of their places are deserts. How was it for you?
That was, I already knew before I left Denmark that one of the biggest physical challenges would be the desert, the Sahara Desert. And that really came true. That was really, really hard. Mostly because I have to economize with the water. I can only carry a certain amount of water, and I don't always know when I can get new water. So even though it's very, very hot and there is no place to find shadow, then I can not drink all the time, and that is that itself is quite unpleasant. Also, there is a lot of wind in the Sahara, so I get sand in everywhere, even though I go around with this one and a hood and sunglasses, so I'm completely covered most of the time, but still this small fine sand gets into all airways and eyes and ears, and so that was a big challenge. But on the same time, it was really a positive experience to be in these Arab countries. I experienced so much hospitality there. Everybody were very inviting and come and drink attaya, come and eat with us, come and sleep with us. To a much larger extent than it had been in Europe, and also to a larger extent than it has been in the more black African countries,
so
if you will.
So you drank attaya?
Yeah, I drank a lot of attaya on this journey. In North Africa, everybody drinks attaya all the time.
So Charlie, let's look at this project that you're embarking on in order for you to raise funds for people that are not having access to water. And today you've actually spent a month in Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
What have you observed so far with regards access to water?
I have actually been out looking at one water issue. On the Banana Islands, there is a village called Ricketts. And this village, they gather their water from the hills, the rainwater in a big cement tank where 150 people approximately use this water gathered there. But there is a leakage in the tank, in the bottom of the tank, so all the water just runs directly out in the ocean. And that is something they are struggling with right now. So even though my main objective is this big water supply system in Tanzania, which will cost a lot of money, $66,000 to raise, then I have still been out looking on this small thing here in Ricketts, and actually this problem I think can be solved very cheaply with one bag of waterproof cement and one expert in construction. I think we will be able to solve their problem. So if there is some minor company out there who would like to sponsor that, they are welcome to contact me also. Then
so how would you assess the
issue
issue of water in the east and western part of Africa, based on what you've seen so far?
Well, there is problems with water in all countries in Africa, I think, but the extent is much bigger in East Africa. Here in Sierra Leone and also in Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, it's very fertile. There is green everywhere, and there is many small rivers and stuff. But this village I'm trying to help in Tanzania, as I was saying, people actually had to walk 19 kilometers to nearest source of clean water. I have not seen something like this in West Africa. And now we are expecting, or the UN is expecting, the biggest humanitarian crisis since Second World War to come this year, because 4 countries will be in famine. One of them is actually West Africa and Nigeria, but beside that we are talking about South of Sudan and Yemen and what is the last one? Somalia.
Okay.
Which
So
is in the East Africa.
How much of Sierra Leone have you seen so far?
I walked down across the border from Guinea close to Gambia.
Gambia.
So I was in Gambia, then I walked to Port Loko. And in Port Loko I had a girl visiting me from Denmark who was walking with me for 1.5 weeks. And we went down to Waterloo, and then we were staying with a couple in the Waterloo area for some days. And then we walked to the Banana Islands and stayed for some days. And then she went home to Denmark, and I got the malaria. And then
you got malaria?
Yeah, I got malaria on the banana actually. But I didn't realize it before I reached Freetown. So I walked to Freetown with the malaria, and then I started taking my treatment here.
So you mean you got malaria when you came to Sierra Leone? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So looking at this solo journey that you're embarking on,
I
mean, from Denmark right to Tanzania, right to Sierra Leone, you walk through the coastal area just alone with your push. I mean, what are the challenges with regards protection? Are you not afraid, I mean, in terms of fear, sleep in the bushes, among other things, especially in a culture like Africa where, I mean...
Which is totally different from his.
Yeah.
Quite different.
Yeah,
from
I hear many horror stories also, but I have not experienced something really bad yet. I had one incident in Guinea-Bissau where a man was coming in the night with a machete, but when I wake up and, what are you doing here? And he got such a shock when he saw me that he was just shouting, Nombre de Cristo, in the name of Christ, in the name of Christ. And then he ran away, so he probably thought I was a white devil or something living in the forest. So luckily that didn't end too bad, but I'm of course aware that there is a risk. But it's a risk that I already knew there was before I started walking, and I made a choice with myself that this mission I'm going to take, no matter the risk, and I know that that I will keep to that. I made a promise to the people in this village that I will do what I can to bring them water, and I know deep in my heart that this is the right path for me. I never felt before my life making so much sense as for what I'm doing now. And if it's going to cost my life in this course, then so be it. I'm ready to pay the price for that.
This is quite interesting. I mean, you're in Sierra Leone now, and you've spent a month in Sierra Leone. I mean, how much benefit are you looking forward to giving back to a country like Sierra Leone, where, I mean, probably
to giving back, well, we can start with the cost of the visa itself. I think that's giving pretty much back for being in your country. I mean, what do you mean that I should give back?
I mean, looking at the water situation, I mean, your journey is to look at situations where access to water probably might be challenging. I mean, I don't know whether you've observed that in case like Sierra Leone, and like you said, you've spent a month already.
Yeah. Well, as I was telling you before, my main objective is to fetch water for this particular village in Tanzania. Until I have those money for this system, I don't start making many projects everywhere, because you need to finish one thing before you can start the next. But as I was on the Banana Islands, I saw this situation in Ricketts. And that's a small system. I mean, the people I'm trying to help in Tanzania, we are talking about thousands of people, approximately 9,000 people whose life I can improve. This situation in Ricketts, we're talking about 150 people. So it's not really the same league, but it's not the same cost either.
When are you leaving Sierra Leone?
Now I will go to the migration office today, and I think I will ask for 2 more months of visa, because I have a lot of office work to do here.
In Sierra Leone?
Yeah, the thing is that when I'm normally living in the bush, I don't have access to electricity, and I don't have a so good internet connection either. And I have a lot of things when I finally get to a capital that I need to do, emails to write, graphical stuff, articles.
So Charlie, when you would have completed this entire walk onto Tanzania, if you ask again to carry on with such an experience, would you?
Yeah, I think it's early to answer that question. I think that I will continue being involved in something similar. But I don't know if I myself will take a long walk again, or if I will find another project to start. I hope, of course, that Walking for Water will become a success, and that it will spread out, that other people who want to undertake an extreme voyage like this will use the Walking for Water platform to make a charitable event out of it, instead of just doing it for the...
Let me ask this personal question. How is the food like in Sierra Leone?
The food? Well, I don't eat meat. I'm a vegetarian. So that limits the choices. It's not always so interesting.
Have you tried the leaves, like cassava leaf?
Yeah. I have tried all the vegetarian choices here, but it's pretty much the same as I have got in the other West African countries. So it has not been a new sensation towards food to come here, but maybe you have something traditional. This I haven't tried yet.
Well, since you said you would be asking for 2 more months to be here, then
Yeah.
I'm sure you will try it. But before leaving us this morning, what would you want to leave with viewers all over the world that are actually watching you now?
Yeah.
And you've explained to them already through this medium what you intend doing
Yeah.
for the people of Tanzania in that village. What would you want to leave with them?
Yeah, I think we have covered the concept of the organization, and that has been really nice that I could do that. That I'm not asking for companies for something for nothing, but that I'm actually trying to offer them a marketing campaign, an advertisement campaign, making it a good business to use some of the marketing budget on these charitable things. So if I should have one final message for the people out there, it will more be to try to find out what is it really that you want with your life. What is your personal passions? I have not taken an academical degree, for example. I have no wife, I have no kids, I have no house, I have no car. I don't have all these things that people are normally striving to get. But I'm so happy, because I have found a way of living where I feel that my life really makes sense. I'm trying to give more than I take in this world, and I'm meeting so many nice people. I'm learning a lot, I'm developing a lot, and I found happiness by combining my personal passion of adventuring with this compassionate cause of giving water. And I think everybody can do the same, not necessarily by walking, but no matter what you like to do here in life, try to focus more on spending time on that and less on necessarily getting a car, getting all these things.
Yeah. Okay.
We have one short life, and I think if everybody just try to focus on doing the things that makes them happy and trying to give more than they take, then we can make something of this world. We can give everybody their basic needs.
Okay. Well, on that note, we want to thank you very much. Uldahl Christensen, CEO of Walking for Water, a philanthropic pilgrimage. We want to say thank you for being part of Wake Up Salone.
Thank you very much for coming.
And we wish you well
as
you continue your work for water for those people in that village in Tanzania.
I try to make some order. That's why I'm